Hi, I'm TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and I ask that you like, share, and comment on this video. Thanks for watching. All I gotta say is, who dat? Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, and yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. Really do appreciate your time. Shouts out to everybody in the chat. Shouts out to everyone listening around the country and around the world. On this edition, we're going to be talking about some of the habits that the Saints should avoid in 2023 if they want to get back to their winning ways. And also, I'm going to talk a little bit about an experience that I had that I'm not too happy with, and I don't know how to feel about it, right? But it is involving the New Orleans Saints. But thank you all so much for being here. Really do appreciate your time. If you're watching this live, yes, this is live. This isn't pre-recorded. I also want to give a special shout out to everybody that has been checking out the Gumbo Pot Sports podcast that's available right now. It's a brand new channel that's available right now. And I'm excited about it, man. Not only am I going to be discussing New Orleans Saints topics, but I am going to be doing NFL topics as well. So if you love the NFL, if you love talking football, sports in general, check out the Gumbo Pie Sports podcast that is available. There's an episode that's going to be coming out after this episode. We're going to be talking a little bit about Jalen Hurts and his new contract, of course, and some of the things that are going on in the world of the National Football League. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the habits, right? When you think about habits, there are positive habits and there are negative habits. Positive habits is things that you have developed that helps you get to where you need to be or helps you reach a goal, right? Those are healthy habits. That's drinking water. That's exercising consistently. That's eating the right foods, right? Those are good habits to have. But there are also negative habits, things that stop you from reaching your goals. And when you think about those things, that's, things that prohibit you from reaching your full potential. When I'm looking at the New Orleans Saints and I'm looking at this offseason, I'm seeing a lot of positive things that I can think of. Them signing the right guys, them getting more athletic on certain sides of the football, bringing in guys that can win matchups a little bit more, allowing other guys who are probably like on the cusp of being okay or being pretty good, allowing those guys to go somewhere else and bringing in guys that they feel like would be better as their replacement. But we all know that the New Orleans Saints had some habits, and they started this last offseason that stopped them from reaching their full potential, making the playoffs. And I think it look no further than Dennis Allen's kind of like a little bit too laid back when it came to some of these players being able to play, practice, and some of the things that they may have going on. There was a substitute teacher type vibe last season from Dennis Allen, in my opinion. There were a lot of times where I feel like he didn't allow these guys to practice as much. I feel like the chemistry suffered at the beginning of the season because a lot of these guys didn't participate in a lot of the activities that were going on. And I think in order for the Saints to avoid starting slow, I think that he has to be a little bit more stern when it comes to making sure that these guys are on the field at the same time. You know, this is one of those things that I feel like that prohibit them. Like you look at some of these players and, you know, them not, you know, practicing, barely playing in preseason games. But you look at some of these other teams that were out here, you know, these teams were winning teams like the Kansas City Chiefs, in years past, the New England Patriots. You know, Bill Belichick and Andy Reid didn't go out here and say, well, you know what, man, you're a star. You know, like, you know, you're great. You make this amount of money, so you're going to sit on the sidelines. No. They don't matter if you were Patrick Mahomes, no matter if you were the 53rd guy on the roster, you were out there competing. And that is what the Saints need to do, right? You need to know who the right guys are, right? And you also have to develop a level of chemistry with these guys, especially since you have a quarterback in Derek Carr who is new, and repetition, and also chemistry is going to play a huge role to how far the New Orleans Saints are going to go this season. So you cannot afford to have these guys on the sidelines nursing this injury, that injury, and all that kind of stuff. Guys can actually practice, but you want to just sit up there and say, oh well, you know, well he you know, we're taking it day by day. No, taking it day by day gonna have you not in the playoffs yet again. All right, and we don't want that. Another thing I feel like the Saints need to avoid is starting slow. For the last couple of years, the Saints have started extremely slow to begin the season. And they have had their backs against the wall consistently because they start slow. Rather it's getting pressure on the quarterback. Rather it's the secondary developing a level of chemistry. They have to start faster than what they have been in years past. And that coincides once again with the chemistry, being on the field, as many reps that you can in the offseason in order for you to be prepared for the regular season. I don't think it's a coincidence that you see some of the best teams, they start fast when you have guys that are out there competing every single day, right? There's no favoritism, no matter how many all-pros you got, no matter how many Pro Bowl berths you have, no matter how many yards you done had and how many touchdowns. It didn't matter. And those teams they find success because they don't allow that stuff to kind of cloud their judgment. If Dennis Allen does some of the same things that he did last season, then the New Orleans Saints are going to find themselves in the same position, starting slow. And also, I think that's something that they need to avoid, to be quite honest with you, is the conservative play calling, right? Not willing to go for it on 4th and 1, not willing to take a chance, willing to go out there when you have opportunity to kick a field goal, but instead you punt the football because you're too afraid about making mistakes. Look, there's a reason why you look at teams like the Eagles, teams like the Kansas City Chiefs, teams like the Cincinnati Bengals, because their coaches believe in the offense. The coaches believe in the defense. They're not in their own head. They're not playing scared. They're not playing like they're in a fetal position. They're going out there and they're competing. And they believe in what these guys are doing. So if it's 4th and 1 and they need a yard, they believe it. And if they don't get the yard, then guess what? They just don't get the yard. Too much fear from last year for my liking, right? It was too much fear going on with the New Orleans Saints organization. So hopefully, you know, them having a year under their belt, I'm talking Dennis Allen, P. Carmichael, you know, understanding what they have as a team, being a little bit more, you know, grounded in their positions. Hopefully they won't be as scared and as cowardly as they were in some of them games that they had last season. That's some of the things that I'm looking at. But feel free to comment some of the habits that you feel like the Saints need to avoid, or some of the things that they may need to practice in order for them to be successful in 2023. But those are a few things in particular that stood out that I feel like they need to address if they want to make it to the playoffs, because if they don't, they're going to find themselves missing the playoffs for 3 consecutive years. But let me go ahead and read some of your comments here. It says less cap space for Eagles, though. Well, we'll talk about that on any NFL questions or anything like that. I'll talk a little bit about that on the Gumbo Pie. It says what we need to stop this scared play calling and coaching. Yeah, I just mentioned that, Barber. You know, that there is just a lot of cowardly actions going on with the New Orleans Saints last season. I mean, it's not a coincidence that when you look at some of the analytics, you know, when it comes from like being aggressive, going for it on 4th down, taking a chance, they were dead last, right? I mean, numbers don't lie. Like sometimes they can, but in this particular situation, it doesn't. And that tells you everything that you need to know. This team plays scared. And when you play scared, you find yourself on the outside looking in, right? I think that there was too much into trying to make the right decision instead of just going with your gut and just going out there and playing. I hope that they change the way that they execute this season. I just hope that they do. I'm not saying go for it on 4th down every time like we playing Madden or something, but there are opportunities where, you know, by converting on that 4th down, it can change the trajectory of the game. It can swing momentum back into your favor. If you're not doing that, then you're going to find yourself once again not in the postseason. And to me, if this is what was going to happen for the foreseeable future, playing scared, then I don't know if this coaching staff is going to be able to be around for a long period of time. It's just not going to happen. Like if you're going to be playing like this, you ain't winning many games, right? Because it's going to be rather the team going to not believe in you, or you're not going to believe in the team, and then they're going to know that you don't believe in them, and you're going to rub them the wrong way, and we all know what happens then. They ain't going to want to play for you. So they need to figure something out, because if they don't figure it out, once again, there's going to be a whole different regime going on in New Orleans, because you ain't winning nothing like that. We need to get off to a faster start, not falling behind, be focused and ready to play once the coin is tossed. Yeah, you know, I think that comes, Linda, with chemistry. That comes with guys being able to communicate. There was too many guys that weren't available. Guys just played week 1. Michael Thomas was out there, didn't get no reps in preseason whatsoever. Jameis Winston really didn't get any reps in preseason except for that last game. But there was very little chemistry that was between the quarterback, the wide receivers, the running back. They didn't play on the field at the same time, because for some apparent reason, Dennis Allen, I guess he felt, you know, by keeping your starters on the sidelines, it was going to help them stay healthy, which that was proven to be untrue, because the same guys that you were trying to protect and trying to make sure that they was there for the regular season end up getting hurt in the preseason anyway. So it like this whole theory about sitting guys and not having these guys play in preseason because they're going to be ready for the regular season, that theory needs to go out of the window. I feel like you probably had more injuries because you had a lot of these starters that didn't take reps in preseason. You don't have to play the entire game, but you need to get some reps under you, you know, some real game reps. But a lot of these guys didn't get an opportunity to play in the preseason because Dennis Allen, once again, felt maybe, we need these guys for the regular season. Guess what? The same guys that you tried to protect end up getting hurt anyway. So you might as well get everybody out there in order for them to develop some level of chemistry so they can go out there and perform and they can hit the ground running instead of guys wondering what this dude mean and the communication isn't being there. Too many guys. Like, think about this, man. I mean, Tyrann Mathieu had personal issues. God bless the brother, but he wasn't there. Alvin Kamara didn't play in preseason. He was out there. Michael Thomas didn't play in preseason. Jameis Winston, for the most part, didn't play in preseason. You had some offensive linemen that weren't out there. but all of a sudden you're supposed to go against the Atlanta Falcons and just blow the doors off of them with very little chemistry whatsoever. I mean, my question was, what the heck is wrong with you? Like, why would you even believe or think that would be able to fly? Especially since you seen the Atlanta Falcons. You had a lot of those guys that started that game. They played in preseason together, and I don't think that how they started off as fast as they did, I think it had a lot to do with them developing chemistry. Now, luckily for the New Orleans Saints, they won the game, but we all saw that the chemistry was definitely not there. So, and might as well just kill that theory about guys getting hurt, because guys are going to get hurt regardless. I don't care if they play in preseason, regular season. It's a physical game, the NFL. So guys have a strong chance of getting hurt. Convert on third down and more offensive creativity. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with the offensive creativity. You got to be able to find some ways to allow your playmakers to get open. You got to know what they're good at, and you also got to be able to add to their portfolio. And probably, you're probably going to see a little bit more offensive innovation because of Derek Carr being a quarterback. I think that now that Pete Carmichael understands, he is the guy, like he has to make sure that he's, dotting the I's and crossing the T's, and also being able to do research to see what's new. If you have some guy on the team that possesses a certain skill set, to be able to utilize that to your advantage. So I'm just interested to see what's going to happen here. You can't be out there just being ultra uber conservative and being afraid to take a chance. Okay. That's what it was last season. The Saints, it seemed like they were afraid with the talent that they had on the field. And the biggest focus wasn't even to win the game, but it was mostly about not making a mistake to cost you the game. But in reality, if you're playing tense and playing uptight, you're going to lose anyway. So you might as well go, excuse my French, balls to the wall and go out there and win the game, or try to do everything that you can to try to win instead of playing scared. That's the reason why you didn't make the playoffs. Let's see. TJ, I like you to help a vid of mine go viral. A YouTuber said some vulgar and racist things about the people of my city, so I made a video calling him out for it. Well, Josh, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I can help a video go viral. My suggestion would be to you is just speak from the heart, man, and speak with passion, about how you feel. If you felt like it was out of line, out of pocket, put that energy and that outrage and that frustration to your video, and people are going to feel it, people understand if you being fake, if you just trying to get something just to try to get on, or they really just, you really understanding and feeling what you're saying. So my advice would be to you is just, make a video and speak with that passion that you have, and the offense that you feel, man, put that into that video, and I guarantee you'll get the results that you're looking for, man. Let's see. Avoid not getting Cam Jordan and Demario Davis good help this year. Yeah, I mean, look, you got to be able to get these guys some help. Hopefully some of these other guys can win the battle of attrition, which these two guys have been winning since they've been with the New Orleans Saints. I'm knocking on wood saying this, but look, man, a lot of these dudes, I don't know what the heck is going on. I don't know what their offseason activities be looking like. I don't know what their pliability be on. I don't know what exactly was happening, was taking place, but just amazing to me how these guys just constantly get hurt. And it's amazing how these two guys, Demario Davis and Cam Jordan, just continue to win the battle of attrition. I mean, we can talk about the Saints medical staff. We can talk about all these things, man, but I mean, they have the same medical staff, right? I mean, the same medical staff that Cam Jordan and Demario Davis is using to stay on the field, these other guys have. So I'm just wondering, man, I'm just wondering at this point, what are these guys doing, in order to make sure that they conserve their bodies and take care of them? I'm pretty sure they're doing the right things, but just amazing to me how these guys, Demario Davis and Cam Jordan, can stay healthy, and some of these younger guys who's supposed to be more young and vibrant than these guys are, they can't stay on the field. It's amazing. Avoid not already read that. It says, we need defense get more sacks, have interceptions and turnovers. Yeah, Dalton, you definitely need more turnovers. Last season, I mean, it was just pathetic. I mean, the defense was straight, but they didn't get any turnovers. I mean, you had Daniel Sorensen had to come into the game, a guy who was the backup of the backup at safeties, and he had more interceptions than guys that was out there playing 17 games. It's amazing to me. I don't know what it is, man. I mean, I don't know if these guys can't just, I mean, I assume like if you're a cornerback, you're a cornerback for a reason. Most of the time you probably play wide receiver and just couldn't catch. So they switched you to the defensive side of the football because you was athletic. But, I mean, Alontae Taylor had opportunities to get an interception. There was an interception that he caught, got overturned because of a flag. There was a time where he caught the interception, then bring both his feet in bounds. It was just a bunch of bad luck. So, I mean, if you take and add those on to it, you know what I'm saying, that's a few more interceptions that would have been on the team. But they definitely need to generate more turnovers, and you definitely need to get more pressure on the quarterback in order for him to speed up that clock. And that's what brings turnovers, right? When the defense is getting pressure on the quarterback, he has to speed up the clock in his head, which gives the cornerbacks and the safeties and linebackers opportunity to get their hands on the football because – the clock is a little bit faster, so they can, they can be able to make plays. So it kind of goes hand in hand. If the defensive line is hunting, then you're going to see secondary improve. But there are opportunities where, the ball is like popped up in the air, they still can't pick it off. So I don't know what it is. Like they need to work on some hand drills or something like that. Maybe spend a little time with the wide receivers. I don't know. But you definitely need more turnovers. Like, you're not going to win many games if you can't generate turnovers to get the ball back to the offense. I like to see more aggressive conditioning programs so that injuries are cut down. Yeah, I mean, look, you can't run your organization like a country club. You just can't. Like, man, these dudes got to sweat. They got to sweat, and they got to fight through it. And you got to be able to do those things in order for you to generate levels of success. Once again, that's not going to take away from injuries being, taking place because it's the NFL. Guys are going to get hurt. But at the same time, man, you don't have to practice today. You can stand on the sidelines today. I'm gonna do what I need to do. I'm gonna protect the player. Like, man, miss me with all that, man. These dudes get paid a lot of money to play this game, and injuries are going to happen. And I think that they know that. And there's nothing you can do about it. Like, you can sit one of your star players on the sidelines the entire offseason. Week one, he can go out there and get hurt. I mean, there's no protection for that. It's just the nature of the beast. It's the way the pendulum swings. So to believe that sitting a guy on the sidelines until the regular season start will help him in any way be able to weather the season, I just think that that's just asinine. Bad habits for the Saints need to get out is a slow start. Yeah, them slow starts really hurt this team tremendously. It really does. I think it should be mandatory that they play in all preseason games at least the first half. Well, I don't know if I ain't got no problem with them not playing in the last game of the preseason, but for these guys not to really get no reps in preseason at all, like, I just think that's just not smart. Like, I get that you have a bunch of talented guys on the team and you don't want to lose them, but chemistry is important, man. Reps are important. And some of these guys, they need to have these reps and they need to be able to work on their conditioning as well. I think that is one of the main reasons why around the National Football League early in the season, you start seeing a lot of injuries because these guys are on the sidelines. They've been put on the shelf. They haven't really just been wide open, like they just been on the sidelines. And no matter how much conditioning you do, it's not going to prepare you for a real game. So you have to be a part of it. So hopefully they learn a lesson. We also need stop running. I don't know exactly what we mean by that. I mean, stop running the football or stop running in general. I mean, even Andy Reid had Mahomes and Kelsey out there playing in all the preseason games for just the first half. Exactly. I mean, I'm just looking at it like not even about who is out there, right? I'm looking at it more so like these guys, it's not a coincidence that you have these talented teams making it all the way to the end and having deep runs in the postseason. When you look at their preseason, you seeing these guys out there playing an exhibition together, and establishing chemistry. I don't think it's a coincidence that you're seeing these teams make it all the way to the end or halfway to the end or consistently making a postseason. But we'll see. We definitely need to seriously focus on getting better D-line play. Yeah, definitely want to do that. Definitely want to get back to the old habits of stopping the run, not allowing teams to run the ball up and down the field on you. And also, man, maybe you can get some of these guys who you're counting on to make plays, to stay on the field. I don't know. Need more D-line and linebacker depth. I agree with that, but I think that's going to come probably with the draft coming up in the next couple of next week. Coming up next week, and you also have, free agency that guys as you can possibly get. A lot of things are on hold. And you're not seeing many guys get signed because teams are kind of focusing on the draft, and they probably are looking at like, hey, you know what? Maybe we can draft a guy at this position to fill a need, and if they can't, then that's when you start seeing like other free agents get signed by teams, but. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm pretty sure they'll probably draft a defensive lineman to add to the room, and they'll go from there. Bro, but that was a lot of the problem. Let's see. Stop running backs and quarterback runs. I agree with that, but Dalton, that starts with having guys that are athletic up front, right? And adding guys like Nathan Shepard and Cullen Saunders is a start. Like, these guys are more athletic defensive linemen that can be able to run, but I'm still questioning opposite of Cam Jordan. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't believe in Peyton Turner. I don't. I haven't seen him play. He's made plays that I've seen, he's splashed every now and then, but it's hard for me to count on a guy that's never playing, guy that's never out there. And even if he's out there, is he going to be any good? Right? Can he stop the run? Right? Can he control the edge? I don't know. So to say, oh man, if Peyton Turner can play, like, I don't know that. Right? I mean, I don't know. You don't know. The Saints don't know. Right? They can believe that he can play, but I ain't seen it. So it's hard for me to sit up here and say, oh man, well, if Peyton Turner is healthy, like, what has Peyton Turner done for us for him to instill any level of confidence that we have in him at all? I don't believe in him. I don't, because the dude always hurt. When he had opportunities to play, he couldn't even dress. Like, I want people to understand this. There was a stint where Peyton Turner was a healthy scratch. You're a first round pick and you're a healthy scratch. So I'm supposed to believe that all of a sudden, like, he's about to turn into Javon Curse or I don't know, like one of the great edge rushers or Reggie White or something like that. Like, hell no. Like, the dude hasn't done anything at all, right? If the Saints end up drafting an edge rusher, I would have more confidence in that guy than I do with Peyton Turner. Peyton Turner has done absolutely nothing since he's been in the Saints uniform. And it's a shame that you're a first-round draft pick and you can't even get on the field. And I don't feel bad about saying this. Like, if it just so happened he runs by what I'm saying, I don't care. Like, you have to play. Like, when you are healthy, it's not like you saying, well, I was hurt. No, you wasn't. You was a healthy scratch. They thought that guys, that was a part of the rotation, right? Like, guys who were undrafted, unproven, had to do it the hard way, are worth going on the field before you. If that's not an indictment on who you are as a player at this stage, I don't know what is. Turner being a healthy scratch was concerning. When you saw Falcon running backs at 100 yards last year, that was unacceptable. Well, I will say this. It's not a surprise to me that the Falcons had some 100-yard rushers. I mean, Arthur Smith, one thing that he does, he knows how to, allow lanes to open, call offense where, the running game can be successful. I mean, we've seen that he came from the Tennessee Titans, right? I mean, come on, man, Derrick Henry, for God's sake. So that's not a surprise to me. But you don't want to see this consistently. You don't want to see them just completely just get ran over like they did last season. A lot of these guys were getting ran over. So I don't want to see that. The biggest question is, what has Derek Carr done to deserve the contract he got from the Saints? What has he done? He's won a lot of games. He's facilitated a lot of comebacks. He's made the postseason a couple times. Look, man, we can pretend like guys playing the quarterback position at a high level, no matter if you're making a postseason consistently or not, doesn't matter. It does, right? People want consistency at the quarterback position. They want to show that you can win. They want that to be proven. And, you know what I'm saying, they want a guy that has leadership qualities. And you also have to take into account situations as well. So a lot of people feel like guys don't successfully or they don't succeed because they go to a bad situation. So they believe in Derek Carr, and, Derek Carr is not a bad quarterback. Anybody that's saying that Derek Carr is a bad quarterback is probably upset that Jameis Winston isn't their quarterback. Derek Carr is a really good, serviceable quarterback, and he deserves he deserves to be a starter and he's better than half of the league. So you're not gonna get me to say like Derek Carr is terrible or Derek Carr doesn't deserve it. Like Derek Carr has proven, and I'm sorry, but it's a fact. But Derek Carr has proven to be a better, solid starting quarterback than Jameis Winston has. May not be the most popular opinion in the world, but I don't care. Jameis Winston is good, but what has he done for us to be sitting up here and saying, oh, he's our starter without some level of competition? There isn't any. Derek Carr has at least went to the postseason, has been in consideration for league MVP, has facilitated 33 fourth-quarter comebacks, and on a team that has been absolutely god-awful and has been football purgatory for I don't know how long since the Tuck rule. So Derek Carr deserves to be a starter, and the Saints are better at on offense because he's here, contrary to popular belief. I feel like we should try some more packages that feature the offensive line, edge rushers, those fast hybrid guys. I agree with that. It's hard for me to sit up here and talk about Zach Bond as a linebacker when I've seen him throughout his collegiate career make a lot of his plays because he was rushing a quarterback. I think that it's completely unfair for us to evaluate a guy for doing something that he's never done on a college level to do in the pros. Now, you have some guys, you give them an assignment, they develop, they get better. But I just think that a guy is behind the eight ball if you're asking him to come in and be something that he's not. Like, the guy has really been good at rushing a quarterback. I think that maybe, I don't know if Zach Bond would be an all-pro or nothing like that. I don't believe that. But I feel like he probably would be more productive if a team actually uses what makes him really good and what made him really good at Wisconsin. So, yeah, I do feel that way. I do feel like the Saints need to get a little bit faster with the edge rushers, and maybe they'll be able to draft a guy. I mean, hopefully they get one because it's pretty obvious that they need defensive line help going into the draft. Also praying that we go ahead and get someone that'll make a difference in the running game like Kamara did his first 3 to 4 years. Someone, like Keandre Miller, Charbonnet, and this is more scheme fit. Well, look, I think that first off, I think the Saints went in the right direction getting Jamal Williams. I think that the Saints got the right guy in Alvin Kamara. I just think that the way they used Alvin Kamara last season was stupid. Like, I'm sorry, it was just dumb. Like, you have one of the most active, most productive running backs in all of football, and you got him running between the tackles like he Earl Campbell Natron memes or something. You know, like I don't get it. Like, have you not watched this dude like for the last 4 to 5 years of his career? I mean, there were very little screen passes for the New Orleans Saints. There were very little plays called for Alvin Kamara to make plays in space. I don't know what the heck going on. You would think that Pete Carmichael fell off the turnip truck or something like that, like not calling plays for Alvin Kamara that fits his skill set. So I don't know, man. I don't know what the heck is going on, but all I know is they need to get back to it. I mean, look, people say, okay, man, Sean Payton was calling the plays, but God dog, don't y'all got hands on the footage or something like? Don't y'all got the tape where when Alvin Kamara was most productive, you can go back and watch that and maybe scheme that? I don't know. All I know is the way they played Alvin Kamara last season, you would think that Pete Carmichael was brand new and not been a part of this coaching staff for the last 15, 16 years. You ain't like, I don't know. No matter who you get, you can get any running back you want. But if you're not utilizing their skill set and trying to find ways to make them better and make them more productive, you ain't winning nothing, right? I mean, you plug and play. You can get the best running back that we've seen. You can get Barry Sanders. You can get LaDainian Tomlinson. You can get Marshall Faulk. All those guys. Regardless, if the offensive coordinator is not putting these guys in a position to succeed, you're just going to see a regular basic running back. And we know that Alvin Kamara is not a regular basic running back. Carr has also proven he's more consistent. Can't wait for the season to start. I agree with that. Like all this talking and stuff like that, you know, it's fine, but I want the season to start. I want the season to be able to start and you know, so we can be able to evaluate this and break this joint down. Because, you know, everybody look good on paper. We all, you know, hope that this team is really good. We think about the possibilities of what this team can be. But all of that means absolutely nothing. Like if you know, until you actually play the game. But I want to talk a little bit about something that happened to me a couple of days ago. All right, so as y'all know, man, in 2023, I got my media credentials from the NFL, right? I'm extremely excited about that. Anybody know my start, where I came from as a broadcaster, a podcaster? I started off just recording content on my phone and adding it to a slideshow, right? And I went from that to being able to talk in front of you all and State of the Saints podcast being one of the top Saints podcasts on a planet. Now, I normally don't say stuff like that because, you know, that's just not how I roll. But I worked really hard to get these credentials and get, you know, where I'm at right now. I started from nothing. I have no corporate backing. Ain't nobody like from some major network, major corporation gave me anything. Any sponsorship, any interview that has come on this podcast is because I went for it. Right. But anyway, I was trying to get my media credentials from the New Orleans Saints. Right. Y'all already know that. So got in touch with somebody, and to my amazement, God tells me that even though I got all these like credentials that I've obtained, that my numbers and my bottom line is not good enough to be able to be a part of the Saints media. Now, I don't think I need to tell you how upset and how frustrated I am at, you know, with this situation, because I just think it's just a bunch of BS, right? And I came to the conclusion that it just seems to me that you have to fit like some type of mold in order for you to be able to access or gain some level of access to that, right? If you follow me, you know that I don't just put stuff out there or trying to be a shock jock or anything like that. So I don't understand why I couldn't. But I just made up in my mind that if I have to change myself in order for me to get access to anything, I'm just not going to do it. Like, if that means that I'm always going to be on the outside looking in, or I'm always, you know, just going to be at this position, then I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with, focusing more on other things as well. It just does not make any sense. And yeah, I was very, very upset about it. But I just realized, like, what type of, like, do I want to change myself to appease them? Or do I want to trade true to myself and continue to do what I've been doing and just be happy at what I'm doing? And I prefer the latter. So if that means that I gotta, in order for me to take a step forward, means that I gotta talk about Dennis Allen's good qualities, even though at the particular time it doesn't warrant being talked about because he hasn't won anything, or I gotta minimize the Saints' offensive attack, even though the offense is about as vanilla as ice cream at Baskin Robbins. I'm not doing it. So I'm happy at what I'm doing right now. I'm going to continue to do what I've been doing, and I ain't kissing nobody behind in order for me to get anything. So it worked for me to get to this point, and I feel like it's going to work with me to get to where I want to go regardless. So I just felt like that was a whack excuse for me not to be able to get access. And I don't feel bad about saying that. I just think that was just straight up corny because that just does not make any sense. I'm not saying I'm the biggest Saints podcast out there, but I believe I'm top 5. So yeah, I wasn't very happy about that. But we still gonna continue to talk here Saints football on the State of Saints podcast because getting access has never really just been the ultimate goal. My ultimate goal has been to talk about something that I'm passionate about, and that's been the New Orleans Saints, and it's going to continue to be the New Orleans Saints. And, I'm always going to continue to talk sports too because, I just love sports. But I just think that was absolutely whack, and I don't care. Like, at this point, I do not care. Like, because it kind of just, look, no disrespect to anybody out there, but I just got to say it. It just seemed like to me like they want to be able to control the narrative for the most part when it comes to this team. And if you go outside the realms, it seems like they look at you as being a threat or something. I don't know. But I'm not about to kiss anybody behind. If the team look like trash, I'm going to say it. If the coach look incompetent, I'm going to say it. Right? Just like if he doesn't look incompetent, then I'm going to address that as well. But I'm not going to sugarcoat anything in order for me to get access to the room, right? If I'm getting in the room, I'm going to do it my way, period. So, and that's to anybody. Like, you're going to, if you continue to do what you're doing, working hard, dedicating yourself to anything that you're doing, eventually you're going to have to come to a crossroads, right? And you're going to have to make a decision. And I think I made mine. So if they think that that's going to stop me from doing what I've been doing, they feel like that's going to stop me from being brutally honest about how I feel about the team, you're sadly mistaken. Like, I can get in the game. So who cares? I just had to let that be known, But I just felt like that just absolutely whack that you worked so hard for something. And because maybe they don't like the verbiage, they come up with some whack excuse not to allow you to get access. That's corny. Let's see. It's because you too real. They want you to sugarcoat. Yeah, and that's not what I'm going to do. And like I said, I hate to say it, but it kind of validates what a lot of people say. And this ain't sour grapes, but it just seems like it seems that way. Because, I'm not just some guy sitting in a room. Like, I mean, I am right now, but when you bust your tail for something, it's not like I'm just some dude that just out here trying to like be a spin doctor or something like that or be a shock jock. Like, broadcasting is my life. Like, when I turn this camera off, I'm doing radio. I'm doing broadcasting. That's my job. So it's not like I don't have the credentials or anything like that in order for me to get access to it. Like, it's crazy. Like, I can get in touch with any NFL team's PR, and I've done this. I reached out to a team's PR about all season activities, and I got access to them. Like, seriously, like another NFL team, right? Or somebody saw my stuff and still gave me access to be able to take part in their offseason. And it's a rival team. So what does that tell you? So it's not like I'm just sitting up here with just sour grapes. You know? So what can you do? Like, I'm good enough to go to the combine. I'm good enough to go to the Senior Bowl. I'm even good enough to be able to go and cover a team that's a rival of the team that I talk about consistently. But I'm not good enough and my numbers aren't good enough for you to do that. Like, that's whack. Like, you know, it is what it is, though. Let's see. Blame the people who listen and don't hit the like button. Nah, it's definitely ain't anybody's fault here. TJ, is a possibility that you heard the criticism. You criticize DA and Carmichael and they don't like it. Well, guess what? They must ain't gonna like it going forward because I'm telling you, like, I'm not going to change anything. Like, seriously, if these guys do something positive, I'm gonna big up them. Like, I even talked about with Dennis Allen when he was at the owners meeting. I say, it seems like he's more confident in himself, and it seems like it's really his team now. I gave him props. And I also talked about how I feel like the Saints are doing the right things, right, this offseason. But if you go out there and you look like you got out coached and you got embarrassed, and in situational football you looking like a deer in headlights, I'm gonna call it out. Why wouldn't you? Like I might as well just cut the camera off if I'm just gonna sit up here and just sit up there and just be vanilla and talk about it. Oh, it's gonna be okay. It's all right. Like, I'm still gonna be a who dat today, tomorrow, forever. I'm like, man, miss me with that. If that's what it takes, I'm out. I'm good, man. And like I said, no, there ain't no disrespect to anybody that got access and all that kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure they worked hard, extremely hard to get where they are. I just think that that's whack that you have to conform to a certain, get to a certain thing in order for you to be able to get in their good graces. Well, I'm good. Big Q and TJ are the best Saints podcasts in my opinion. Well, I appreciate that, Greg. I appreciate that. Like I said, I work extremely hard to create good content, and like I said, it's not going to stop me from not talking about the team because that wasn't the end game. My end game wasn't to like get into like the room just for me to just talk to them all the time. Like, if that was the case, then I probably wouldn't be doing the show today. But I love this team, and I'm going to continue to talk about it. But I am going to say that was whack, and I can care less who hit it. So you're surprised that you can't do things your way. So I'm surprised that you can't do things your way. I don't say I ain't surprised, but I just feel like as a member of the media, your job is like, look, I don't have an obligation to the team. I have obligations to you, right? So you don't watch this show or listen to this podcast for me to sugarcoat stuff, right? So my obligation is to the listener. So at the end of the day, that's who I care about. Like, I don't care about what, like, I get criticized and people, talk about how my feelings and my views. Like, even like when I was talking about the Saints having a certain type of quarterback, even Cam Jordan, like, said that he thought I was wrong. Even though I can say now, how can you say that I'm wrong when Andy Dalton was your quarterback who fits a West Coast system? Drew Brees before that was your quarterback. He fits a West Coast system. And now Derek Carr is your quarterback, and he fits a West Coast system. But how can you tell me that I'm wrong? Why? Because they sprinkle a little Taysom Hill with a run in there every now and then. And, even with Jameis, runs a little bit of a West Coast offense. So where am I wrong? But like I said, I don't care about people getting upset about how I feel about situations. My obligation is to the people that have been rolling with me since day one. Right? So, and am I surprised that I can't do things my way? To a certain extent. If I can't get on a microphone and give my real opinion about a team that is validated based on what we see, it's not like I'm just up here just talking. Everybody can see it. I mean, what can you do? Am I supposed to like pretend like it didn't exist? Well, if I have to pretend like it don't exist, then I'm good. One door closes, another one opens. This just means there's a better opportunity coming. That's the way I feel. I made it to a live. Good morning, TJ from Los Angeles. Raymond, good morning to you. Appreciate you for being here. Saints looking like the Republican Party. I'm not going to get into that. Hope everyone had a great weekend. I had a great weekend. I just got back from Alabama. Got back yesterday. Went to go visit my in-laws. That was pretty cool. You know, be able to spend some time with my in-laws and stuff like that. TJ, I was on Big Q channel Sunday evening addressing Whackman Jones, talking how the Saints secondary sucks. Well, look, I invited Adam Pacman Jones on the State of the Saints podcast, reached out to him. Haven't heard anything back, but we're glad to have him on the show so he can explain to us why he feels the way that he does. So that's, you know, please keep being you, TJ. That's how you build your platform, and that's how it'll continue to grow. Guys got to take care of you. Well, yeah, look, I'm not complaining about anything. Like I said, I've started out recording in my apartment closet and adding pictures as a slideshow. That's like, if you go back to the very first episode, that's how this podcast started. And over 1,000 episodes later, now, you know what I'm saying, I'm live streaming from the Senior Bowl and the NFL Combine. Like, nah, I'm extremely blessed. I just felt like, you know, I don't know, man. It's almost like one of those situations where you grow up and you just idolize a person, and then you meet them in real life and you realize, you know, it just leave a bad taste in your mouth. That's kind of how I felt about it. But I've been riding with TJ since day one. I agree. Yeah, definitely, Jerry. I appreciate that, man. I don't even take sugar in my coffee because it seemed like you were implying white quarterbacks. That's how everybody took it. No, that's how, like, this is what I don't understand. It's not my fault that you misinterpret what I'm saying. Like, it's up to you to ask the question about how I feel. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean by that? Like, people just take information and they just run with it. They just completely run with it. Like, and that's not my fault. Like, because that's the world that we live in. We interpret things the way that we want to interpret it, and we end up being mad at individuals, or I don't like that individual. Like, I've heard people say, man, I don't really care for him. Like, he always talking stuff. I'm like, dude, you don't know me. Like, you know me from what? I've been on here 52 minutes. I'm not talking about you in general, but you don't know me, and you never really had a conversation with me. But people make those interpretations. But I never was implying about the whole white quarterback thing. I don't get into the whole race thing when it comes to the quarterback thing, because I think I feel like it's much deeper than that. I was looking at it from a scheme system standpoint. But if that's what you want to interpret it as, that's you. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I didn't, you know what I'm saying? That wasn't what I was implying. I was talking about the actual offensive style. So, but of course, people that hit me up and ask me what, and shouts out to like at least the 6 or the 7 people that inbox me and ask me what I felt about it. They know that. But of course, anybody else who probably didn't, TJ always talking about race. And well, look, get out, it ain't my fault that you in your feelings. And I'm definitely ain't about to apologize for somebody that misinterpret what I'm saying when it's easy just to say, what do you mean? If you don't understand, instead of just taking something and running with it. So I ain't apologizing for that. Barbara, you killing me right now with these comebacks. DA honestly makes good moves in the offseason for letting CJ walk. I just wish his aggressiveness translated to the season. Yeah, I think that was a smart decision because he had to do it, because you were setting the tone as a coach, right? If he would have allowed him to just be around there acting a fool and being crazy and not doing anything about it, it might have been taken the wrong way by the players. Pacman is from Atlanta. That's why he feels like that. And I already mentioned that. He from Atlanta, born and raised, knee deep in that. You know what I'm saying? So that ain't no surprise. Dude grew up hating the Saints. I think I have created a monster in Barbara Williams. Let's see. Ask Cam Newton what happened happens when you want to do things your way. Well, I guess I'm going to continue to be who I am. And I think it worked out for Cam Newton because guess what? Cam Newton still made over $100 million in his career, and he still was considered one of the best quarterbacks during the time when he was in his prime. So I think that's a win. Let's see. It's not misinterpretation, TJ. It's spin. Jerry Dirty Dog says, yes, you did. I guess y'all having a conversation on this. It said, from what I've seen, Saints fans hate black quarterbacks. That's not true. I don't think that's true. You can't say every Saints fan. Like, you can't generalize that. Like, you can say that you feel some, but to say that the entire fan base, nah, I don't think so. Do they have people out here that look at black quarterbacks and stuff like that, and they just think of them as just running and being Vic clones? Yes. But some people, out there, they don't care what the quarterback looks like. They don't care if he's black, white, like I like to say, blue, like Skeeter Valentine. As long as he can go out there and execute and help the team win, that's all that matters. I mean, you got some old fogies out there who you still, look at black quarterbacks as not being competent enough or smart enough to play the position. But you got a lot of people out here that don't care what the quarterback look like. There are podcasters take I don't always agree with. Don't mean you have to take shots at them. People have different opinions. I agree with that. Look, I don't try to change anybody's opinion. When I get on here, I just tell people how I feel. And I think people misinterpret that because I'm the only one talking, right? You can talk to me, like you can be talking to me right now, nodding your head, saying yes, like, no, I mean, I don't know. But it's just the fact that, I got the microphone. And sometimes, when you're confident about something, it can come off as being arrogant. Like, and I don't consider myself being that way. You got to have a certain level of confidence about what you're doing in order for you to consistently do that, because you got to deal with negativity and trolls and individuals that wish they had your work ethic. And I understand it. But as far as like trying to like convince people certain things, like I might disagree with somebody saying, and they might have a different stance, but it's going to come a time where I just realize I'm not going to change your mind. You're not going to change mine. So why continue? That's not the point of conversation. I think we kind of get this misconstrued, especially when we're talking about sports or anything. We think that, having a conversation means that I'm winning the conversation over you. That, you know what I'm saying? That's how the conversation works. No, conversation and communication works is two individuals might have a certain stance about something. You're talking to me and I'm being receptive of what you're saying. Now, I may not agree with what you're saying, but I'm being receptive of it. And when I leave, you have a better understanding of who I am, and I have a better understanding of who you are. The problem is if a person right off the bat doesn't agree with what you're saying, then we automatically just throw that person out. But, like we're not going to always agree. Like you might be a Falcon fan. I'm a Saints fan. And you might feel like the Falcons are the best team in the world, and I feel like the Saints are the best team in the world. You're not going to have conversations and be like, hey, you convinced me that the Saints are the best team. Like, not if you like true and dare and embedded in that fandom. It's not happening. So I just think that communication is a lost art, because everybody wants to have conversations like they do on television when it comes to debate shows, right? I want to show you that my point means more to you. Like, you're not going to change a person's mind. You're not. Got to get back to work. Love you, TJ, and the SOTS family. Jerry, appreciate you for being here. I thank you for that, man. Appreciate your comments. It says TJ, DA best coach in the NFL, right? He the best coach in the NFL. I think we all know the answer to that. Hell no. To the no. Hell to the no. Man, ain't even top 10. Top 15, and that matter. At least not right now. Let's see. What's good, TJ? My don't for us this season is don't take the risk of not drafting top youth at quarterback. Don't it says don't for us is don't take the risk of not drafting. Yeah, look. I'm all for drafting a quarterback if you feel like that quarterback can be important to the future of the team. I'm not in the business of just drafting a quarterback because he's young. Like, if he's not good enough and he's not going to pan out, he's still not going to play. I just want that to be known. Like, don't just draft a guy because you need a guy. Draft a guy because you're in love with the guy and there's some possibility of that guy leading your franchise one day. But if he doesn't check those boxes, I'm not in the business of doing it. I'm not in the business of going. There ain't no good reason you can give me for being a Falcon fan. Well, I mean, that's because you love the Saints. But if you grew up in that area, you might have grown up as a Falcon fan. You never know. TJ, stay strong, King. You must be doing something right because they're starting to hate. Well, man, I don't get into the hatred. I got too much love in my life. I'm gonna just say that again. I don't get into the hatred. I got too much love in my life. And I understand that. You know, I understand what comes with the territory. You know, when you do this for a good little minute and you got so many wonderful people that watch and contribute to the show all the time, you know, a lot of people, you know, they just wonder, like, man, who is he for that? But man, nobody ever gonna take away my drive or my work ethic or my want to do what I'm doing right now. I don't care who it is. You know, you get bumps in the road throughout life, but that just comes with the territory. But that shouldn't stop you from continue to work harder. You know, I always say, you know, when you're at the door of opportunity, knock. If nobody answers, bang on the door a little louder. And if that don't work, then kick the damn door in. So don't be denied. And that's the way I feel, you know, like I knocked on the door, he ain't answer. Okay, that's fine. But guess what? I'm still going to be at that door and eventually I'm going to kick it in because the way I feel is I'm undeniable. Like you can sound better than me. You can probably enunciate your words better than me, but I mean, you can't kill my drive. I can tell you that right now. I've seen people that are, you know, much better when it comes to like being orators and all that kind of stuff. But my work ethic, nah, they ain't touching it. TJ, what's understood shouldn't be explained. Stay up and being you. I appreciate it, man. This year we see what DA made of. Everybody eating their words. Well, look, if DA can go out here, look, I want people to understand this. If DA goes out here and he wins games and wins Coach of the Year, I think every Saints fan in America or around the world would love to pull up to the table and eat a big bowl of crow. I don't care. If I could, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be eating crow every single day. I don't care. Like, the whole point is for the Saints to win and be successful. That's all I care about. I don't care. You know, look, if I said something about a guy and I have to go back and eat my words, I'm happy with that. That means the team is winning. You know, but if I'm continuing to saying the same thing and I'm sounding like a parakeet, then we have a problem. We have a problem, man. So, TJ, we rather you overstand and understand, for we do stand under everything. Well, I appreciate that, man. I got love for everyone here and everywhere I go. Well, that's the way you should live life, man. Oh, I love that outlook, TJ. Kick the door in. Yeah, you gotta kick the door in, man. You know, sometimes, you know, you're knocking at the door. A lot of people just, you know, staying at the door and just wondering why the door don't become open. A lot of times, you know what I'm saying, we got to use a little force in order for us to be able to get through the door. Remember that. You know, my wife told me, you know, and when I was telling her about the situation, she was like, that don't mean no, that just means not right now. And I said, man, sometimes, you know, we thinking we know the way. But when we get there, it's not the way that we were supposed to go. You know, we probably have to go a little further, or, you know, like we have to go in a different direction in order for us to get back to where we need to go. So Always just remember that, man. Do you think you'll be a good commentator commentating a sports game? Do I think that? Probably. It depends. Like, me talking about sports, I feel like, I'd be good. But as far as like doing play-by-play or something like that, nah, probably not. Probably not. I think I can present it in an exciting way, but to do that consistently, nah. Because I'm not really into that. Like, I'm not really passionate about it. And I can't fake the funk. Like some people can just fake it. Okay, I'm just do it. I can't. Like, if there's no passion behind it, it'll be hard for me to consistently do it because I'm passion driven. Like I'm extremely passion driven about things. And if no passion comes with it, then it's kind of hard for me to just sit up there and consistently do it. I'll eat that crow with sides for real, with a biscuit and some mac and cheese for real. I would love to do that. Shoot, no doubt about that. Especially those big steel project doors. Yeah, I mean, look, rather whatever door that you have, no matter what door that you have, whatever door you're faced at, man, opportunity, man, you got to be able to not be denied. Like, you got to be undeniable. Like, you should never give up on your dreams. I don't care what it is. Like, I don't care if it's podcasting. I don't care if it's your job every single day, moving up the corporate ladder. Like, don't give up on your dreams. Because, I mean, you do it long enough, and it's gonna come a time where you're gonna be standing at that door of opportunity. And that door may seem hard to get into, like, but if you want it bad enough, there's not a human being on this planet that can tell me that what I'm doing right now I wasn't destined to do. Like I said, you can sound better than me, you can enunciate your words better than me, but the love and the passion and the drive that I have to do what I'm doing right now, you ain't gonna find it everywhere. The passion and the love that you have for whatever you're doing, I guarantee you people won't be able to find that everywhere. If you believe that, there's not a human being that can take that away from you. And if you take that with you every single place that you go and whatever that you're doing, you will be undeniable. You will be undeniable. So remember that. Let's see. Well, we need to make we need to make that move. Panthers understand that now too. Hooker is good. We keep going through washed up vets and backups. We need to make the move. Good teams have Allen, Hurts, Mahomes, Jackson, etc. James, look, you preach to the choir, brother. I want you to understand. I want you to understand that I'm not disagreeing with you. I definitely agree with what you're saying. Right? Let's put up some of these guys back up on the screen that you're talking about here. Allen, Hurts, Mahomes, Jackson. Guess what? All those guys that you named, James, those teams were in love with them. Kansas City moved up ahead of the Saints to acquire Patrick Mahomes because they knew that the Saints were going to get him if he was there. That means that they were in love with that guy. Let's go back to Allen. Josh Allen. They got Brian Daboll, a guy who is historically known for helping and developing quarterbacks in order for Josh Allen to reach his full potential. They were in love with him. Jalen Hurts, when the Philadelphia Eagles had Carson Wentz, they just signed him to a big deal. They still, in the second round, acquired Jalen Hurts. What's that mean? Because they were in love with him. They feel like he had the leadership qualities that maybe Carson Wentz didn't have. And now it's paying dividends for that brother today. And now you have Lamar Jackson, the same thing. Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens committed to him. They gave him opportunity after they decided to leave and get away from Joe Flacco. And he won a lot of regular season games for him, including a league MVP. All of those teams have in common one thing. They were in love with those guys when they selected them. That's why I'm saying, don't just get a guy because he's there. Don't just get Clayton Tune because you feel like Clayton Tune is just a quarterback. And, but when I think about 4 or 5 years down the line, am I seeing Clayton Tune as the starting quarterback of the Saints? Or, Tanner McKee or some of those other guys that are out there. You have to be in love with a guy. Don't just draft him. Don't just draft him because he's there. Don't just draft him because, oh, he's young and we need a young quarterback. Be in love with the guy. Be in love with him. And if you're not in love with him, don't waste your time, because that draft pick can be somebody that can contribute to your team, right? Rather be on special teams, maybe it'd be a rotation guy, because I'm thinking late rounds. I'm not thinking the Saints drafting a quarterback in the first round or the second round. You're not going to do that, because if you were to do something like that today, you probably would have Derek Carr ticked off. I mean, the fact that he signed with you and then you go out here and get a first round pick, you spend it on a quarterback, not gonna instill the level of confidence in your new quarterback that you think. So I'm thinking third, fourth round, right? So that can be a guy that can be added to your wide receiver room, that can be added to special teams, that can be added on the defensive line as a rotational guy. That's all I'm saying. No problem with them drafting a guy, but if you're not in love with them, don't do it. Don't do it. TJ's charm is so contagious. Vaccines have been created for it. Well, that's one of the nicest things that anybody ever said to me. I appreciate that. Let me see. Also, TJ, the last habit for us, I think, as a Saints supporter, should stop calling a man trash for busting one play, then praising him after he missed. Well, Brandon, I definitely agree with you on that one. You know, love him on first down, hate him on second down, throw that bum off the team on third down. But look, look, football is a game of emotion, right? We all want the team to win. We hover in front of our television sets on Sunday. We get together in the Superdome or even travel to watch the team win. And when they're not doing what you want them to do, it can get a little bit emotional. Things get broken. You know what I'm saying? Stuff get tossed around the room. But I think that a lot of what we see, and I have to kind of be considerate of this as well. I think that it's the lack of logic that's kicked in, because after a heartbreaking loss, logic is not there. Like, we want somebody to go because we want that pain to go away. But I do feel like getting ready for games and starting all pessimistic, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Just negative before the game even start, man, we about to get blew out. Like, nah, I can do without that. Oh, he a bum. Like, the guy had a really good game last week, but all of a sudden he going through a little bit of growing pain. Now all of a sudden we got to cut him. Nah, yeah, nah, those are the people that I can't really stand. The ones that just ready to just talk bad about somebody. I don't know why they just do it. I don't know why. Give me an early pre-draft Super Bowl prediction, TJ. Oh, early pre-draft. Tay, I ain't got nothing for you. You know, and the reason why is I try to withhold my judgment till like everything just kind of goes into place. That's why, like, I don't do, I guess, like really early records, like what I feel like the team is going to be. Are they a Super Bowl contender? I kind of wait for like the draft to come and off-season activities to take place, because I mean, things happen, right? Guys go out there and they compete, and then somebody gets hurt, and that person might be really important to the success of the team. And you got to think about how that person is going to be replaced. So I don't have anything. But if you're asking me, do I feel like the Saints have a strong chance of making the playoffs? I would say yeah. Based on like what they have and what they have added to the team, they have a strong possibility. And then you also have to think about some of the younger players that are going to be taking a step forward to getting better. So I would say that. My granddaughter has been working hard to get noticed and danced. She got up this morning with an invitation to try out in Dallas on Wednesday. Well, that's great. I say hard work pays off. You know, if you're dedicated to whatever you're doing and you love it with everything that you have, whatever fiber you're being, there's not a person that can take that love away from you. It's only a matter of time before you find success. Because when it comes to broadcasting, when it comes to podcasting, to my wife's dismay, but I don't care if I get paid. I don't care about how much money I make. I mean, I would do this for free for the rest of my life because I love it that much. And there's times where I did, like before I got into like broadcasting, doing radio, I was doing it for free because I loved it. And you had a lot of people around me that didn't understand that. They didn't understand why I was so dedicated when a check didn't come behind it. But it was because I loved it with everything that I had. It was like the water that I drank. Like you need water in order for you to live, food, you right? Love. You need those things in order for you to survive. And that's the way I feel about what I'm doing. And whatever you're doing, you ask yourself that question. You ask yourself that question. Could I go without doing it? Do I love it that much? And if you answer your question with a yes, it's worth fighting for. It's worth going on hard time for it at times. It's worth the grind, So don't let nobody take that away from you, because a lot of people aren't going to understand it. Only thing in society sometimes people understand is something that comes with a check, And if it don't come with a check, it ain't worth doing. But if you love it, it's only a matter of time before a check does come with it, because people are going to believe in what you're doing. And once again, that word I keep putting out there, you become undeniable. TJ, this season you should go live during a game just once at least. I think I can do that. I think I can try to do that. But the only thing about it is, here's the issue, Ray. When I'm watching a game, I want to make sure that I'm having a full understanding about what I'm watching in order for me to be able to relate it to individuals. Like, I don't want it just to be on like raw emotion like that. Because sometimes, like, and I just mentioned this, you can be so hell bent and so focused on the team winning. And they go out there, they start laying eggs and making mistakes. It's gonna really tick you off. And I don't want to have that type of energy. I want people to understand that I'm a fan of the team, but at the same time, I do want to, be professional about it, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I think I can make that happen. Appreciate your encouraging words, TJ. Well, I appreciate you being here. I'm gonna stroll down, take a few more, and then we'll get up out of here. Have you met or spoken with Dennis Allen? I've seen Dennis Allen. I've seen Dennis Allen at the Combine. I've seen him. Seen Kyle Harley. Seen Mickey Loomis. Yeah, I've seen him there. Yeah, I've seen him at the Combine. Let's see. What's up, TJ? How are you, bro? I feel really bad with Lamar Jackson. Jalen Hurts getting the third highest paid quarterback along with Deshaun Watson, but the Ravens can't pay Lamar Jackson what he wants. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that on a Gumbo Pie Sports podcast that's coming up. I'm gonna record that one after this show, and I'll go ahead and put it out there. It's a little bit different of a format. I'm doing that purposely, just to kind of start off. I want the shows to be a little bit different when it comes to format than the State of the Saints. Every now and then it might end up being kind of similar, especially like if I start going live, but it's a little different of a format that I'm trying to like work out. And Gumbo Pie honestly is kind of in its infancy, so just trying to figure some things out. But definitely gonna be talking about that in detail on the Gumbo Pie Sports podcast real soon. Let's see. I know you with it, big dog. I value your intelligence and input, fam. Appreciate your response too. I want us to have that competitiveness, et cetera, pitcher dynamic quarterback with Kamara, Taysom, and Olave. I agree with it. I think we all want that. I think we all want this quarterback situation to be put to rest where we feel confident in the quarterback play. I mean, we took that for granted for so many years with Drew, and now that he's gone, we realize how important it is to actually have a quarterback that can go out there and make plays game in, game out. And even though towards the twilight of Drew's career, his arm strength diminished, and a lot of the things that he was able to do in his youth, he wasn't able to do anymore. I think we still, would say that even at his lowest, Drew was still, better than what we've seen over the last couple of years here. No disrespect to anybody, but it's just the truth. But I think we want that again. But we'll see, man. I don't want to just dismiss Derek Carr, and maybe Derek Carr may be the answer for the next couple of years. I mean, we don't know. Hopefully he is. I mean, the Saints paid him like he was. What happened to you and your brother doing a podcast together? Well, what happened with that was my brother's a school teacher. He has a lot of things that occupies his time. And to be honest with you, I had a lot of things going on in my life as well, during that time. And we can never be on the same page when it comes to time and stuff like that. And me, when I put something out and I want something going, I want it to be consistent. It bothers me when I put out a project and I'm saying, okay, I'm gonna do this and it don't pan out. So I try to avoid that. But it wasn't the fact that, it wasn't a good idea. It was just the fact that the times it was just a conflict with the times. But man, everybody know how much I love my brother. Y'all seen him on the show a couple of times, and it won't be the last time you see him, but definitely want to be on the same page. If you want to be on the same page, if you consistently are putting out content with someone, and coming up with collabs and projects always is about time, you email a person, man, when can you come on or whatever like that. And you got to find times to do it. And it's kind of hard, man. I mean, I got a 3-year-old son. It's just me and my wife. It's not like, we got a nanny or a babysitter or something like that. Y'all know, if I'm doing a show at home, y'all probably hear Paxton in the background. My wife probably in the room somewhere, making sure he don't make several appearances on the state podcast. So, that's always going to come first. That's always going to come first in my life. So, but it's not out of the realm of possibility of not happening again. If we can just get things together and be on the same page. TJ, I have a dark horse late undrafted free agent slot kick returner. Liberty, Demario Douglas. Have you, by chance, heard of him and his stock? No, I haven't heard of Demario Douglas, to be honest with you. I'll make sure I look into him. Haven't heard anything about him, but if he's as dynamic as you say, definitely want to look him up, and maybe he'll be the answer to, if they decide to give Rashid Shaheed a little bit more responsibilities as a wide receiver. With the recent buzz that's been surrounding Hooker, do you think he will even be there at 29 now? Everyone said he interviewed well. No, he won't. Not in my opinion. To me, I would take Hendon Hooker over Will Levis. I mean, if I'm the Tennessee Titans, I know they want to get Paris Johnson, who is a outstanding tackle. I mean, dude is a freak of nature. But look, if you don't believe in Ryan Tannehill and you're having issues with Malik Willis believing if he's the future of your team, I'd rather go with a guy like, Hendon Hooker. I mean, I have questions, and I mentioned this before on the Gumbo Pie Sports podcast about Will Levis. I just don't trust that guy. Dude seemed to me like a little bit of a narcissist, I think that every player has an ego, right? You should. I mean, you want to have this belief in yourself, but I don't know, man. With that social media stuff he be doing sometimes, he just kind of rubs me the wrong way. And I'm real big on body language too, and I had opportunity to see him at the combine. I didn't ask him any questions, but of course I was there as an onlooker looking at him take questions from the media. And I don't know, man. He has this. It's not like a confident arrogance. I know I can do this. It's almost like, why the heck are you asking me this question type arrogance? I don't know. He just seemed like he kind of He's talented, but he just seemed like he just kind of phony to me. He did like for real. Like if it's not, I feel like he's saying these things because it's the right thing to say. I don't think he necessarily believes what he's saying. But I don't know. I think I could be wrong. Like I said, this could be like one of the worst takes in the history of takes. But I just don't trust the guy. I dude just rubs me the wrong way. I think he cares too much about what people think and he cares too much about attention. Like, and if that's the case, then why are you up here posing in the mirror, you know what I'm saying, with your shirt off, or eating raw bananas or putting mayonnaise in coffee and all that kind of stuff? Like, why? Like, why? I don't know. I think I already read that. If I'm a GM, I'm not drafting this dude in the first round. I'm just not. Like, I'm passing on. Right? I'm looking at these other quarterbacks. And from what I could be wrong, but there's some talk about him, you know what I'm saying, as far as him possibly falling out of the round. So I don't know how true that is, but because I think if I'm I was watching the show and it was talking about him possibly going to the Tennessee Titans, dropping out of the top 10. But I don't know. I think that I look at it this way. If Anthony Richardson gets drafted before Will Levis, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't, even though they feel like he's the third best quarterback on the board. It wouldn't surprise me at all. If Anthony Richardson goes to the Colts, wouldn't surprise me at all. Hooker will be off the board before 16. Levis is not consistent. Can't make all the throws, but he throws some of the worst interceptions you ever seen. You know what? I just think, I'm going to be honest with you. At the combine, people was going crazy about this dude. And his pro day, same way. This has nothing to do with his talent. Will Levis is talented. And in the right situation, he can be really, really good. But the question that I just have is, man, his personality, how is it going to be able to coincide with his teammates? Because I don't know, man. The dude just comes off to me like somebody that's disingenuous, and it's almost like, if you've seen that movie Draft Day, right? It was that quarterback that P. Diddy was the agent for, right? He was saying all the right things, doing all the right things, and I think he ended up having a birthday party or something like that, and none of his teammates came to it or stuff like that. But it was little stuff like that. He checked all the boxes. He was extremely talented. He should have, been drafted in the top 10, but it was just some red flags. And I feel like it's the same way with him. It sounds the same way with him. I think that he's talented. I think that he'll be worth the price of admission, but I'm just wondering, when will it be a time where, his personality gets questioned? That would be my only question, But like I said, this could be the worst take ever, but I wouldn't draft him. I wouldn't. I'm hoping DA will move for a prominent defensive player in free agency, TJ. What you think? We got a lot of defensive holes and need one fill prior to the draft. Who's out there in a position? Well, look, James, I feel like this. They did a really good job signing some guys for the interior. I think that you want to go into the draft trying to find somebody that can possibly be that Cam Jordan successor. I think there's some guys that are out there on the street, of course, that you can sign. But I think what you need to be doing is looking towards the youth. And you do that by the draft. So hopefully, there's some really, this is a really deep draft at defensive line and edge rushers. Some guys are going to come in and they're going to have teams excited about the future of what those guys actually can do. So, I don't know if you've been looking at the draft, some of these guys on the draft board, I know some of the schools may not be eye-popping, right? And they're not historically known for some of the best draft picks ever. But this is a draft where you can find a guy like in the second round that can be the leader in sacks on your team. Like it's that deep. It's that deep. So I know that you want to go with a more of a short thing, but any short thing that came into the National Football League, it came through the draft, or guys were undrafted, but they had to start off as a rookie. So I think that you could probably find a guy that can be disruptive in this draft. So don't minimize the potential that they have in this draft, man. You can find a guy that can give you twice as much production in this draft as you probably can find any veteran on the street. TJ, your thoughts on NFL not inviting TCU wide receiver Quentin Johnson, 17 invites, and a player some consider best not invited. League said they choose players after speaking with teams. Keeping it real, I'm gonna be honest with you. I did a full detail video on the Gumbo Pie Sports podcast. It's actually the first topic that I discussed on the last episode. I don't want to water it down. I went into complete detail about it. It talks about how I feel about it. What I heard when it came to Quentin Johnston, and what that actually means. I will say this: that is true. They talk to NFL teams before they send out the invites, just to kind of read the temperature of the room. They don't want issues like they did last year when it came to the quarterback positions, with Malik Willis and Kenny Pickett and all these other guys that were out there who got invited to the draft, but didn't hear their name called. So they don't want that. It's kind of like, try to, save the guys, I guess, the embarrassment of not hearing their name called on day one. So they're trying to avoid that. And with Quentin Johnston, there are some questions about him. So, but I went into full detail on that episode, man, and it'll tell you everything that I feel about it. This is the first draft where I can say I honestly can't predict what position we'll draft with the first pick. Yeah, I mean, look, even when you thought you knew, we found out that we didn't. You think they're going to get a cornerback, they can go out here and get Peyton Turner. You think they're going to get a quarterback, they end up getting Cesar Ruiz. Like, last year was probably the only draft where we felt like, okay, they're going to get Chris Olave, they got him. We heard they were going to get Trevor Penning, and they got him. But, this year, I really don't know. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Really do appreciate your time, no matter where you are, wherever you may be. Thank you so much for allowing the State of the Saints podcast to be a part of your listening and your viewing pleasure. I ask that you subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search the State of the Saints Podcast Network. We have previous episodes available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. I'm encouraging everybody to subscribe to the brand new Gumbo Pod Sports Podcast channel. It's a new channel where we talk about the hottest topics in the NFL. I'm about to record on an episode for the Gumbo Pod immediately following this one, this show. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about Jalen Hurts' new contract, what that can mean for Lamar Jackson, and also a few more topics around the National Football League, including the Washington Commanders possibly getting a brand new owner. And it could be Magic Johnson. I mean, we don't know. But thank you all so much. Once again, make sure you subscribe to the channel, the Gumbo Pod Sports Podcast channel. And I appreciate all the love and the support. We're going to continue to talk Saints football, no matter what the situation is. No matter what happened, we still who that, and we're going to continue to do this every single week. Till next time, all I got to say is who that.